The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Welcome to Gate City Chronicles. I'm Kevin Abard, your host, and today we have a representative, actually the executive director from the Great American Downtown, Mr. Paul Shea.
Hi, Kevin. How's it going?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me.
Glad to have you on the show. We like your tie. It's a nice color orange.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, the Great American Downtown. What is the Great American Downtown?
So our mission in a nutshell, and I haven't memorized it word for word yet, is to promote economic and cultural vitality in the downtown area through creative marketing and community events.
Okay. So, when you go through a number of towns throughout the state, whether it's Franklin or any of the other towns, you want to see downtown flourishing.
Oh, yeah.
And you can tell the health of a community by looking at the downtown. When you drive through Nashua, you see a lot of vibrant things going on.
Certainly. We've got a lot of change going on in downtown. We've got a lot of great things going on in downtown. The sidewalk project is near completion. Mm-hmm. The city is working to connect downtown with the Mine Falls Park. We've got kind of a renewed interest in the waterfront area and a whole lot of stuff going on. So I think we're at kind of almost a turning point, so to speak, for our downtown. There's a road that's going behind Dairy Queen. I believe Audley Construction is doing that road. Where is that going to go? Yeah, so the Broad Street Parkway. The Broad Street Parkway starts at exit 6 going east, and then it continues down along the Nashua River through the, what's the Millyard area. There's the Millyard, I think it's the Millyard Technology Park. Mm-hmm. It continues down through that area with multiple access points, and then it terminates at the Pine Street extension over by Clock Tower Place.
I think a lot of people have been wanting that for years.
Yeah, I think it's been over 40 years in the making, and I want to say that
Are we going to lose the tower?
No, from what I understand, we're looking at keeping the one with Millyard plastered on it.
Yeah. Kind of a icon, really.
Yeah, and there were a number of options that the Board of Aldermen were weighing, and all I know is that at the end of the day, they decided to save it.
Yeah, I think that's a good choice. Just because it's been there, it's a historical,
Oh yeah, it'll be a nice frameway for what's going to be the western gateway to downtown.
Yeah, I remember when the mill apartment there, they used to be, Delta Dental used to be there, and you could walk in there, and by the time you left, your lungs were filled with all kinds of fumes from all the manufacturing that was going on in those buildings. Oh, it was quite the place. My dad had a print shop there years back downstairs. But the changes that are coming through Nashua are very positive.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. So now you've been the executive director for about
all of 5 to 6 weeks. Yeah, it's a new job for me.
You got it all under control?
We're getting there. I mean, my impression of what my first few weeks would look like was reviewing all the documentation, minutes, notes, and things that we have from the past. What ended up really happening was I was contacted by the Telegraph within 36 hours of my first day. Mm-hmm. And from there on, I just connected with a lot of people. So instead of digging through all the paperwork that we've got, I think that I learned quite a bit from talking directly with folks who have an interest in what we do, and it's one of the benefits that I've got going into this is that there's such a wealth of community support for what we do, the holiday stroll, and all the different smaller programs that we've got.
This is a wonderful city.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there you have the front door agency. You have all these. You have every corner, every block. There's some outreach program where people are willing to lend a hand or help out in some way. It seems like every week I'm interviewing somebody that's providing a service.
Yeah, and we've just had our cleanup day downtown, what I've dubbed Nashua Pride Day, off of the format that Rochester uses. It's basically a downtown cleanup day, and I'm hoping that we can continue that. I know that folks in the community are always willing to step up and invest. It's just a matter of providing opportunities for people to be of service.
So tell me a little bit about the Great American Downtown. Do you work exclusively with the mayors, with the aldermen, or both? Who sponsors all this?
So we've got a board of directors. It's got a varied makeup, a lot of downtown stakeholders. We are financially supported by the city to a factor of about 2/5 of our budget. It's $35,000 is the line on the budget. 3/5 of our funding comes from event sponsorship and from ticket sales. One of our largest revenue generators, which is coming up, which is a fantastic event. We sell out every year, the Taste of Downtown. And that's as far as events go, largely we have free community events. That event, which is a pairing of downtown retailers and restaurants, there is a ticket fee for that, and that's a good chunk of our budget as well.
Now, is that different than the farmers market coming to downtown? Or?
Yeah, so the farmers market is also a program of ours. It's a program that we've been doing for some time. That is a separate thing. The farmers market is going to begin June 21st. It's going to be Sundays from 10 to 2. Every week all the way through October, live music. And the cool thing about the farmers market this year is we're going to be growing the footprint by 100%. We've got 8 to 10 vendors. Historically,
got Whole Foods in town now. Wanting to be part of that?
Perhaps we'll see. But we're going to go to 20 to 22 vendors, which will make the market, an environment more worthy of exploration and interest. And I think that it will provide a larger array of products for people to come down and shop and, come back every week. To some extent, when you've only got 6 to 10 vendors, 8 to 10 vendors, you spend about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. But I'm hoping that the market will continue to grow and will create more of an environment that's inspiring of exploration. Ideally, the farmers market being a program of ours, and our mission, we would see a lot of folks interested in dining, shopping, et cetera, and spending more time as a result of interest in the market.
Interesting. Now, do you work at all with the library? I know they have events during the summertime.
Yeah, I've actually had a meeting with Carol Iman from the library. We're going to be working on a few things this year. They have the Comic-Con Fest coming up, which is pretty exciting. That's a new thing that they're doing, but I'm certainly glad to support.
Comic-Con?
So it's I'm trying to think of how to explain it. It's basically a bit of a festival inspired by comic book culture.
Oh.
So folks would, some folks would dress up, like their favorite character. There'll be panel discussions. Some of it centered around the artistic element, perhaps classes. I don't know that this is the case necessarily, but perhaps classes to help people with their drawing skills. And it's a pretty neat thing. They can be quite a draw. And, moving forward this year, I am sure that we're going to be partnering up on a good number of things.
Now, there's going to be a road race coming up pretty soon, too, from what I understand.
Yeah, so we've got the Nashua Marathon. It's the Gate City Marathon. It is going to be the first one. It's by Gate City Striders.
Right.
They're looking forward to it becoming an annual event, and I've been working with the organizers to support them from the standpoint of, what can we do to get businesses to be open. It's on a Sunday, I believe May 18th, if that rings a bell.
I believe so, yeah.
What can we do to get stores to be open, create a welcoming atmosphere downtown for folks. It's a 5-loop relay, all of which start and finish right in the middle of Main Street, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And you know, the fact is, we're going to see probably an extra 1,000, if not 2,000 people downtown that day for 4 to 6 hours just spending the day. So whatever we can do to create a great time for marathon goers, I'm right there.
I love the idea. It's a great idea, and the fact that it's a relay means you don't have to do the whole thing.
Yeah, I think there are some teams that are splitting it up into fifths.
Yeah.
I mean, I would not be running a fifth of that race at all, but I'm happy to go and walk 3 miles on the treadmill. But running a fifth of a marathon's not happening anytime soon. But
Yeah. So there's a lot of other events that transpire. Is it specifically downtown, or does it go up Amherst Street, Broad Street, or is it isolated to downtown?
To be honest, I don't know what all the loops are. I believe some involve Mine Falls, but I'm not entirely familiar with the map of the race.
Okay. Yeah. Now, how closely do you work with the businesses and the chamber and all that?
So I have I've been doing outreach. As I said, the first week ended up being I got a lot of phone calls from people. The second week in my office, I decided to go and kind of walk up and down Main Street. So I've met with a majority of the downtown business owners. Some folks are tougher to get in touch with than others, but I've been out there. And what my goal is to facilitate kind of a communication between these central events, all these different efforts, even a marketing effort. We're working on a couple of different projects right now to combine forces of the downtown retailers so that we can all work together to draw more folks downtown, more interest to downtown, more business.
Right. Yeah. And you were recently on the George Russell show, I believe it was?
Yes. Yeah. Which was very interesting. And you said half hour goes by before we started. An hour went by, and I was quite surprised by how quickly it went.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nice to be on there. That was I think the second week after I started.
Now that's AM 900.
I think it is a 1590.
1590.
Yeah.
Okay.
So WSMN.
WSMN, and it's located right downtown.
Yeah, and he was at the the Yugo, which is the Young Professionals Group in Nashua, the Yugo St. Joseph's Hospital dodgeball tournament. Kind of doing the play-by-play, which was wicked funny because George is such a lively guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm hoping to be back on there and talk with him once I kind of nail down a framework for what we're going to be doing over the next year.
And that really is a good show for people that want to get some information on a daily basis, right? I mean,
yeah, I'd say so. I mean, I believe George is on Thursdays and Fridays. I don't know that it's every day of the week, and you might know more perhaps, but.
He didn't pay me to say that, by the way.
But it's I believe it's a 3-hour run, a couple days a week, and yeah, it's certainly a great place to get information.
Right, and if somebody has an event or something like that, they can actually go on his show and tell.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he'd love to have any guests that he could have on there. To be an outlet for kind of discussing all the things that are going on in the community, I think is his purpose there, and he serves it well. And if anybody's interested in trying to promote what's going on or share news that they've got, that's certainly a great outlet.
Yeah, interesting. There's a lot of different things that are going on. Of course, you got Greeley Park. How's that going? There are some events there. I mean, that's usually a very active area.
So I'm involved to some degree with the Summer Fun program. Mm-hmm. I will be emceeing a couple of events, I believe, including the kickoff and the Fairy Tale Festival.
Yep.
If you Google Nashua Summer Fun, you'll come up with the list of events for the year. I know that they also go out through a number of community publications. But yeah, if you've never been to the Fairy Tale Festival, it's really impressive. I've never seen so many kids outside of Halloween all dressed up like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it gets packed, and everybody's having a good time, obviously. And it's Mary. What's her name? Who runs that? Fairy Tale. I've had her on my show.
Oh, I don't know. I've worked largely with Tom Duane on from Park and Rec for the organizational aspects of it, but I couldn't tell you the.
Well, Fairy Tale has their own show here, and so they're a lot of people like that contribute to the community. It's pretty. in-depth endeavor. I guess there are about 5,000 people that usually show up to that.
It's pretty impressive.
So if somebody wants to have an event, do they come to you? How do they organize with you?
So largely,
Denise is her name. Forgive me, Denise.
So largely, our organization has a set of signature events. So in recent history, we've got the Holiday Stroll, which attracts about 30,000 people every year to downtown the Saturday after Thanksgiving. We've got the Taste of Downtown, which is coming up in June, which, as I said, it's a pairing of downtown retailers and restaurants. It's a great way to try a selection, an item from well over 20. I think we're going to break 25 different restaurants and food vendors downtown. We've got the farmers market, and we've got Restaurant Week in the fall. Now, this year, my hope is to grow our list of events. So I'm open to any ideas. Some folks have talked about the idea of a classic car show downtown, which I think would be really cool, be a draw, and those guys come out in droves.
How about local band week or something?
Yeah, like a Battle of the Bands or something like that. I'd be open to any idea. I mean, I would like to see monthly, if not more frequent, events downtown. And where
do you set up all the particulars for that, though? If somebody says, listen, I got a great idea,
well,
do I contact you? Do you get the permits? How does that work?
Yeah, so as far as the events that we execute, those are our events. We do the permitting for our events. As far as if anybody wants to collaborate on an idea, I'm open to discuss that and kind of see where they're at, what the idea is, how I could be of help. Largely, there's a number of events that go on completely independent of what we're doing. We've got the French Cultural Festival coming up, which I believe is June 28th. We've got the Downtown Art Festival, which will be in September. Art Walk, which is also in September, which I'm the chair for the Art Walk Committee. And a number of other things that happen downtown that are outside of what we do. Mm-hmm. The Chamber of Commerce, of course, has their downtown dinner and a movie series. They've got the downtown concerts. So as far as permitting and things go, if it's a project that we are willing to take on, I'd certainly be a part of the whole permitting process. But if not, I can certainly point folks in the right direction.
Right. So if somebody wanted some ideas on how to put on an event, or they wanted to be part of the Great American Downtown, they would contact you. You would help them with the details.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, I could definitely point them in the right direction. And you'd asked about the Chamber of Commerce earlier. I'm very excited to kind of announce a partnership between Great American Downtown and the Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce will be sponsoring our Taste of Downtown event, which is coming up. And I'm looking forward to working with them on a number of different efforts to promote all the good stuff that we've got going on downtown.
What's one of the biggest challenges that you have, you think?
Challenges that I have, having too many darn ideas. I mean, I am so excited about being in this position. I'm actually a registered nurse, so this is not my training. This is not what I went to school for. This is a larger part of my passion, though. And I get very excited. I get all sorts of ideas. And the question is, how do you whittle it down and use, we've got finite resources, all of us, in time and money. How do you best take advantage of those to make some great things happen in the community? I think that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah. Now, what do you have for staff? Do you have people that you collaborate with that say, hey, let's think about this, or are you it?
It's myself and Deb Sutton, the executive assistant in the office. She's part-time, so as far as paid resources, that's a limitation. That's a very real limitation. We do have a number of folks that coordinate different efforts. The farmers market, for example, I believe it's Kim Kreider, who's a volunteer we've worked with in the past. I'm looking forward to working with this year. She does all the organization for our music for the farmers market, for example. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where, and I keep saying this, and I just love the saying, many hands make light work.
Sure.
So, if anybody's interested in being a volunteer for us, I'd be glad to have them. And as far as, using volunteers, I believe that it's best to have folks who have a specific interest and a specific passion find out what that is and kind of set them on the course to be able to fulfill that part of themselves.
Right.
So if there's anyone who has a passion for downtown or any aspect of the things that they see us doing or something that we could be doing, you know, they can certainly reach me. And we've got a website, downtownnashua.org. All my contact info is on there, and I'm fairly active with keeping up with our Facebook. So that's another avenue that they could reach us to.
I was going to ask you. You must have a Facebook page.
Yeah. Yep. So we've got a Facebook page. We've got a Twitter handle. I actually just secured the @DowntownNashua Twitter handle, which I am too excited about. We've got our Facebook page, which is Great American Downtown, and we've got our regular website as well.
So we were talking before off camera a little bit about Mary Goyette.
Yes.
You know, what is Mary Goyette, or who is Mary Goyette?
I like to call Mary Goyette the patron saint of the arts in Nashua.
Mm-hmm.
She's been a longtime advocate for the arts, for cultural expression in Nashua. She's been involved in many, many projects, most recently the Vivian's Dream Project, which is a mural on West Pearl Street. She was involved with the Arts and Sciences Center.
Is that with Positive Street Art by any chance?
No. So the Positive Street Art murals, there's a number of those as well. But no, the Vivian's Dream mural was a City Arts Nashua project. It was largely funded by the first annual Mary Goyette Art Awards Luncheon, which was last year. We just recently had a very successful event, the second annual Mary Goyette Arts Awards Luncheon. And so, yeah, I mean, she's just been an inspiration to a lot of folks. Her husband, Charlie Goyette, from what I understand, over the course of 40 plus years, delivered about half the population. And I had lunch with Mary the other day. Yeah, delivered half the population in Nashua. And I was sitting down for lunch with Mary the other day, and she was trying to remember the calculation because he had figured it out to the ton. How many babies he brought into the world. So it was pretty interesting. But lovely couple, long time, passionate Nashuans, and it's certainly an honor to be able to sit and hang with her and get some inspiration.
Yeah. Is she collaborating with you on any particular events?
I actually, when we had lunch the other day, we talked about a number of different things, and I'm going to be staying in touch with Mary over the course of developing the programming for the next year, because she's got a lot of great ideas and is certainly a great resource.
Yeah, and you found out that she actually listens to George Russell as well.
Yeah, it was funny. She was like, "Oh, and I heard you on George Russell the other day," and I'm like, "Oh, good." So my time there was worth it, because AM radio, it's tough to gauge,
Sure.
what's the audience there, but. I am continually impressed with the number of folks that I hear from that do listen to that show.
For such a city of this size, it does seem to be in touch with itself, doesn't it? I mean, it's such a community here.
It is.
It's hard to explain, but with this much population, people know people. They're connected.
Yeah, and that's one of the things about Nashua. I mean, we're the second highest population in the state. We've got 88 some odd thousand folks. But even still, no matter where I go, I'll see somebody that I know, and it's comfortable. It's that small town feel, but with some of the benefits of a larger city.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally agree. So thanks for coming on the show again. People can get in touch with you through the Facebook, and it's called the
Facebook page is Great American Downtown. If you search, you will find that. It's very active. I post several times a day different community events that are going on Twitter @Downtown Nashua, Instagram as well @Downtown Nashua. And the last thing I'd like to say, again, we've got the Taste of Downtown coming up June 3rd. We've got early bird tickets on sale now for $5 off. They're $30. It's a great value. You get to sample from restaurants like MT's Local Surf, Stella Blue, some of the newer restaurants, Agave Azul, Local
Just went
Delights.
there the other day. Was very impressed. They did a great job. We had a nice little avocado squishy thing there.
Oh, yeah.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
That with our dip.
Yeah, they make it right there in front of you.
Right there in front of, put it right in front of the table, squished it all up. Now, how spicy do you want
Yeah,
that?
spicy or no spicy is the
Spicy,
is what
no
she says.
spicy. So how spicy? It was good though.
Yeah.
We actually enjoyed it. There was plenty of room in there.
Yeah.
You walk into this little door, you think, oh, it's going to be a tiny restaurant.
It's quite expansive,
Yeah.
and if you look at the footprint of the restaurant that was in that space before, they've done some really impressive overhaul.
Yeah, enjoyed it. And I told Tracy loves, my wife, she loves Mexican food, so
Yeah.
we had to.
And that's just one of those, one of the many new fun things that are opening up and happening downtown, and I'd be glad to see any folks come and visit us.
Well, thanks for visiting Gate City Chronicles.
Oh yeah, thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles. If you have an event or you want to talk about something, come on the show. We'd love to have you. And we hope that our shows do bring some information to you that's helpful. So until next week, thanks for watching. Thank you for watching Gate City Chronicles. And we want to thank our sponsor, Aardvark Cleaning. They've been a sponsor for quite a few years now, and we appreciate them being a sponsor. And if you want to be a guest on our show, contact accessnashua@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your story. Until next week, thanks for watching.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.